I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
War and the Imperial Presidency. Congress offers bipartisan blank check to Trump. Here at Zero Hedge, May 5th, 2018. Look at that shit, one share. This comes from Major Danny Surson via TomDispatch.com. It may be too late. The President of the United States is now a veritable autocrat in the realm of foreign policy. He has been since at least 1945, when the last congressionally declared war finally ended. Wars in Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, Somalia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, among other places, were all waged via executive order. And they call it fiat, or feeble, open-ended congressional authorization for the use of military force. Rand Paul tried to change this, but did not get anywhere with it. I'm only going to hit the key points here, so I won't take up too much of your time. Along with many others, this military officer has repeatedly decried the no longer new normal of congressional acquiescence to presidential power to no avail. In 2017, Republican Senator Rand Paul sought to repeal and replace within 6 months the existing, the existing 2001 AUMF, and that's just what they call giving the president that much power, which had authorized the president to use force against the perpetrators and enablers of the 9/11 attacks. And of course, none of what we've done have been an effort to inflict justice on those who perpetrated 9/11. They have hit everyone except the actual perpetrators of 9/11. You know, Saudi Arabia and Israel. And they've continued to suck the ass of these two countries like you would not believe, giving each of those countries billions in foreign aid. Fear not, brave centrist. Senators Republican Bob Corker and Democrat Kim Keene are riding to the rescue. Right. Their recently announced bill to repeal and replace the existing AUMF promises to right 7 decades of wrong and establish a rigorous congressional oversight, improve transparency, and ensure regular congressional review and debate. Those motherfuckers don't want to review and debate. They're just like everyone else, preoccupied with their cell phones, computers, and getting money for their party. They don't want the work. That's why they delegated that power to the president. In reality, it would do none of those things, though Senator Kaine gave a resounding speech in which he admitted that for too long Congress has given presidents a blank check to wage war. His bill could not staunch that power. No, because all the presidents have the deep state whispering in their ear. You know, people like Zbigniew Brzezinski, What's that other fucker's name? The name's right on the tip of my tongue. I talk about Henry Kissinger. The Rothschild family, not just Jacob, the whole fucking family. The Morgans. All these people, all these families, they control the presidents, including Donald Trump. As soon as Donald Trump gave his go-ahead to move our embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, he became a member of the deep state. Now, he might be trying to, follow up on some of his campaign promises, but I don't think he's going to be able to bring those jobs back. I think the whole point of sending them jobs away were to reduce the United States to a third world status. And they're not going to let one man, one of their own, they're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to allow for us to reverse courses and regain our so-called prior status. Let me see here. Where did I leave off? His bill would not staunch that power. Were it ever to pass, it would prove to be just another blank check for war-making acts of Donald Trump and his successors. Though there have been certainly many critiques of their piece of legislation, most miss the larger point. The Corker-Kane bill would put a final congressional stamp of approval on the intervention of the war-making process that over the last 3/4 of the century has become a de facto constitutional reality. The men who wrote the Constitution meant to make it, or make the declaration of war, a supremely difficult act. But it's not, is it? Our arrests, American citizens' arrests, are supposed to be supremely difficult acts with no doubt, without a shadow of a doubt being left of their innocence, yet we have the world's largest prison population. Yet we over-regulate everything. The Corker-Kane bill would institutionalize the inverse of that. It would essentially rubber stamp President's authority, for instance, to continue the ongoing shooting wars in at least 7 countries where the U.S. is currently dropping bombs or firing off other munitions. How to make a war on any group, any time. Should the Corker-Kane bill miraculously pass, it would not stop even one of the present ongoing U.S. conflicts in the greater Middle East or Africa. Instead, it would belatedly put a congressional stamp of approval on a worldwide counter-terror campaign which isn't working, while politely requesting that the President asked nicely before adding new enemies to a list of associated or successor forces, that is, groups that are usually Arab and nominally Muslim and essentially have little or no consequence or connection to the 9/11 attacks that produced the 2001 AUMF. Let's take a look at just some of the forces that would be preemptively authorized to receive new American bombs and missiles. Special Operation Forces raids, or whatever else the president chooses under the proposed legislation, while raising a question rarely asked. Are these groups actually threats to the homeland or worthy of such American military efforts? And the answer is no. Many of the groups are created by our nation, by our leaders, like Al-Qaeda, like ISIS. So, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they're all creations of the United States, and their justification for invading places like Syria, places like Iran, places like Iraq, Libya, and so forth. I say, leave the fucking places, let the people kill themselves over there, and then, if we want to colonize and take over, that would probably be the smarter thing to do, not spend billions and billions and billions of taxpayer monies being spent to do these things. So Al-Qaeda proper, or AQ proper, naturally makes the list. Then of course there's the Afghan Taliban, which once upon a time sheltered AQ, Al-Qaeda. As nearly 17 years of effort have shown, however, they are militarily unbeatable in a war in their own homeland that is never going well for Washington. And the same thing would happen to them if they tried to fight the American people. They would get their fucking asses beat. They would get their fucking asses beat, and there would be no military afterwards. I'm telling you. You think the military would use nuclear weapons on the mainland of the United States? No. No, they would not. They would not use nuclear weapons on the mainland of the United States. Because their families live here. I have my doubts as to whether they'd use any kind of missiles at all. I think they would have to fight a conventional ground war, and I think they would get their fucking asses beat by the American people. Yes, our death toll might be higher because of the lack of training, but at the end of the day, they would lose. And which is why I push so hard for these things to happen, because we're never going to achieve our freedom as long as these kind of people are free. As long as these kind of people are in power, we will never achieve freedom. We will never achieve any kind of lasting peace, and we will continue on the war path until it destroys us. And we're almost there. We're almost there to that point of destruction, and nobody seems to want to reverse it. Everyone wants to jump head on, feet first, into these conflicts we have nothing to gain from. Take the Korean War, for example. We didn't benefit monetarily at all from the Korean War. But South Korea is one of the most prosperous nations now because of our military being stationed there. So we're enriching all these other countries while denying our own people. I mean, we're in so many countries. We're in countries in Africa. We're in countries in the Middle East. We're in countries in Europe. We're in countries everywhere. And we shouldn't be. Anyway, I thought I would offer this as, a little more proof that Donald Trump is a deep state operative. He is a Rothschild puppet. And a lot of you people are being fooled by the theater going on in the media. And that's all it is. It's theater. Every time Maxine Waters gets on TV talking about Donald Trump, it's theater. She doesn't really feel that way about him. She's saying it because they know they had their run in Democrat while Barack Obama was in power, and now they have to bend to another tyrant. Anyway, I thought I'd share this with you. Hope you all have a good day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.